You know what the right money move is. Build the emergency fund, pay off the card, invest consistently. And yet, you still don't do it. Then you beat yourself up and call it lack of discipline. The truth is, that's not the real enemy. Your brain is running old survival software in a new money system that's built to exploit it. In this video, you'll decode 3 core biases that quietly sabotage your finances. See how banks, apps, and platforms are designed around them, and learn concrete countermoves. Once you spot these patterns, you'll know exactly where you're likely to get trapped, so you can neutralize the damage. And there's one harmless feature in almost every money app that quietly drains your future wealth. We'll come back to that. Let's start with the first trap, your love of comfort right now. Present bias means your brain massively prefers rewards today over bigger rewards later. When you're stressed, tired, or uncertain about the future, that bias gets even stronger. Your system is basically saying, we don't know what's coming, so let's feel good now. That wiring kept your ancestors alive. It's terrible for modern personal finance. This is why you keep saying, I'll start investing next month. And then, next month never shows up. It's why building an emergency fund feels boring and buying something small, as a treat, feels deserved. Your brain is not thinking in decades. It's thinking in hours and days. Now here's where the system steps in. Financial products are built around this comfort trap. Fast signups, one-tap buys, instant credit approvals. Buy now, pay later. 0 down today. Everything is tuned to remove friction right now and shove the pain into the future part of the curve where you barely feel it. Look at how most shopping sites and lenders talk about cost. They don't say, this will cost you thousands over 5 years. They say, only this much per month. The interface anchors your attention on the monthly payment, not the total cost over time. When you only look at the monthly number, your present bias does the rest. It's just a bit more each month. I can handle that. Multiply that across subscriptions, loans, and little upgrades, and your future self is locked into years of payments you barely remember choosing. That's the hidden rule. The system makes the future feel invisible, so your built-in bias does the heavy lifting for their profits. So how do you fight back without trying to become some willpower robot? First move. Make future you concrete. Don't just say retirement or later. Give it a name, an age, and a clear target scenario. 35-year-old me has 6 months of expenses saved and doesn't panic if work changes. The more specific that picture, the closer it feels on that mental curve. Second move. Use friction on yourself. If spending is instant, you lose. Add a 24-hour delay rule for non-essential purchases. No buying the same day you see it. Set up auto-invest and auto-savings to run the day you get paid, so money moves out before you can emotionally spend it. Let the default be money flows to future me unless you actively interrupt it. Third move. Reframe cost in something your brain actually respects. Instead of thinking, it's only $50, ask, how many hours of work is this? Or how many months of freedom is this worth? Linking money to time cuts through the comfort fog. Once you start protecting your future from your present self like this, another enemy shows up. Your fear of losing. And that one keeps you stuck even when you know exactly what needs to change. Now let's talk about the second trap, fear. Loss aversion is the bias where losing $100 feels way worse than gaining 100 odd feels good. The pain of loss is louder than the joy of gain. Your brain is wired to treat losses as threats. In the wild, that made sense. Losing food or safety could kill you. In money decisions, it makes you weirdly conservative in the wrong places and reckless in others. This is why a lot of people avoid investing even when they know, logically, that leaving cash idle is losing to inflation. The chance of seeing the number on the screen go down feels more painful than the quiet, invisible loss of buying power over time. So they sit in safe cash that's slowly leaking value. Loss aversion also keeps you clinging to bad deals. You've already paid for the expensive car, so selling it feels like locking in a loss. You keep an old subscription because canceling would admit you wasted money. That's the sunk cost fallacy, a close cousin of loss aversion. Your brain hates the idea that what you spent is gone, so it throws more time and money after it. So what does the system do with that? It makes leaving harder than staying. You see limited time offers that push you to lock in terms you don't fully understand because missing out feels like a loss. The clock, the countdown, the only a few spots left language is there to trigger your fear of losing an opportunity, not to help you think clearly. Banks and platforms add complex fee structures and paperwork, so switching feels tiring and risky. You're not just comparing two numbers. You're comparing what I already have versus a confusing pile of options that might backfire. Status quo bias does the rest. You stay, they keep the fees. The hidden rule here is simple. The system is designed so that your fear of losing and your love of the status quo keep their revenue stable. They don't need you to love the product. They just need you to hate the idea of changing more than you hate the current deal. So, how do you counter this? First, decide rules in advance when you're calm. For example, I switch banks if fees go above this amount per year. I cancel a subscription if I don't use it at least twice a month. Preset rules turn vague fear into a clear trigger. Second, use clean slate thinking. Ask, if I had only cash today, would I buy this same thing again on these terms? Forget what you already paid. If the honest answer is no, that's your signal to exit, even if it stings. Third, run tiny test bets. Instead of moving all your savings to a new high-yield account or new investment, move a small chunk first. Let your brain see nothing exploded, this works. Small wins retrain your loss-averse system that change can be safe and rewarding. Fourth, reframe what loss actually is. Staying in a bad deal is a guaranteed loss over time. Switching creates the chance for a better outcome. You're not risking safety, you're risking continued bleed. The big mistake here is waiting for perfect certainty. That day never comes. Comfort is not the same as safety. In money, feels safe often means quietly expensive. Fear keeps you stuck. But once you finally start moving, there's one more trap that pushes you in the wrong direction. Your love of stories and crowds. Now we hit the third trap. Hype. Humans are wired to copy the group. For most of history, if you did what the tribe did, you stayed alive. If you wandered off on your own, you took on more risk. That wiring didn't vanish just because we invented stock tickers and crypto charts. In money, that instinct shows up as herd behavior. If everyone is buying something, your brain quietly assumes it must be safer, even if you don't really understand what it is. You think all these people can't be wrong, and your fear of missing out starts yelling louder than your curiosity. You see a price chart going straight up, friends talking about gains, feeds filled with screenshots. Your brain doesn't run discounted cash flow models, it runs, "We're getting left behind." That's not a rational analysis. That's ancient survival code fired up by modern notifications. On top of that, you've got narrative bias. Your brain loves a clean, emotional story way more than it loves messy, boring math. This stock will change the world. This coin is the future of money. This project is run by geniuses. Those are stories. They feel good. They give you a hero, a villain, and a simple arc. Compare that to, this business has stable cash flow, reasonable debt, and a boring, diversified customer base. One of those lines sounds thrilling. The other sounds like homework. But it's usually the homework that protects your wealth. Then comes overconfidence. Once you get a couple of wins, your brain upgrades your role from lucky participant to skilled operator. You bought something because a friend mentioned it, it went up, and suddenly you think you have an eye for these things. You start ignoring base rates, which is just the simple question. Out of everyone doing this, how many actually beat a low-effort, diversified approach over many years? You don't need exact stats to grasp the pattern. Most people trading fast and emotional don't outperform a boring, broad strategy. But your recent wins feel like proof that you're different. So how do financial systems use all of this? Look at how a lot of trading platforms and speculative apps are designed. Flashing colors, confetti when you trade, leaderboards, top movers, most popular, trending tickers. The interface is built like a casino, not a sleepy brokerage. The goal is to keep you excited, not thoughtful. Then you've got social-driven hype. Lists of what other users are buying, influencer content that blurs the line between education and promotion. Headlines built to spike your emotions, crashes, bubbles, once in a lifetime. Chances. Each of these elements pulls on herd behavior and narrative bias at the same time. The hidden rule here is sharp. When your emotions spike, whether it's greed or fear, your rational process goes offline. That's when trading volume jumps. And where there's volume, there are spreads, fees, and tax events. Your emotional swings are a revenue source. So you need counter moves that separate your long-term wealth from your short-term feelings. First, split your money into two clear buckets: entertainment money and wealth money. Entertainment money is a strict small cap you can afford to lose. That's where you can speculate, chase hype, experiment. Wealth money is for boring, diversified, long-term holdings. No hype trades allowed in that bucket. Second, before you buy anything, write a simple 1 or 2 line investment thesis in plain language. I'm buying this because if you can't explain how it makes money, what could break it, and why the price makes sense, you don't understand it. No thesis, no trade. Third, use pre-commitment. Set up automatic investing into broad, low-drama assets on a schedule, regardless of headlines. That way, your long-term plan doesn't depend on your mood, the news cycle, or what's trending this week. Fourth, check base rates at a high level. Ask, how many people who day trade or chase hot tips actually outperform a simple, diversified index over 10 or 20 years? You don't need a precise percentage to get the message. The odds aren't in your favor. The common mistakes here are predictable: chasing viral trades, confusing luck with skill, telling yourself this time is different every cycle, and letting feeds set your time horizon. When you notice that pull, that's your signal to step back, slow down, and ask, is this my plan talking or my need to feel part of the crowd? Your brain isn't broken. It's just running old survival code in a money system that knows exactly how to poke it. So you don't fix this with trying harder. You fix it by building rails that quietly carry you in the right direction, even on your worst day. The thing is, once you see the hidden rules, you're no longer just reacting to them. You're designing around them. You're turning your own wiring from a weakness into a strategic advantage. As one behavioral economist put it, we are not computers, but we can design systems that protect us from our own shortcuts. Build those systems, and your money will stop reflecting your worst impulses and start reflecting on your best decisions over time.
See you in the next one.